Hello guys, and welcome back to the Be the Hero channel. Today is July 17th, and we had a major transit happening in the stars, which I want to spend quite a bit of time talking about today, because this has just closed out a massive chapter we've been experiencing in our hero's journey, so to say, and we're about to enter a new phase of our hero's journey that is going to present a lot of challenges and also a lot of growth and abundance. And knowing these can help you not only navigate challenges that are going to be surfacing for you and understand them better, why they are showing up, but it also can help you with manifesting if that is something you are interested in. So again, I said today's July 17th, and it is known that there is a Cancer new moon happening right now, but that's not the aspect I necessarily am here to talk about today. Yes, we have a Cancer new moon peaking today, and that's inviting us to focus on our relationship with nurturing our emotions, focusing on our relationship with our emotional security, but we also have the North and South node shifting signs. And so in this video and in this presentation, I'm going to try to cover everything you really need to know about the upcoming transit of the North node entering Aries and the South node in Libra. And I really just want to tense how important this is. The North and South node are some of the most important aspects in astrology, in my opinion. And they have helped me significantly with my growth journey, with manifesting, and it explains so much. It can bring so much ease to our lives. So in this presentation, I'm going to cover what you need to know about the North Node shifting signs, what the North Nodes are, how long the North Nodes will be in Aries and Libra, and everything else that you need to know. So I prepared a presentation for you guys to visually see this. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull that up here so that we can look at it while I am talking. Let's see. This might be better. There we go. Dun, dun, dun. Perfect. This should work good. So the North Node and South Node have just shifted signs. The North and South nodes change about roughly every 18 months. And where the North Node is currently can show us where we need to move to in our current journey, what step we're at. Now, this can also be very confusing because we also have a natal North and South node, and understanding the difference and holding them in holding both in the light at the same time can be very complicated. For starters, the North and South node, which will be in Aries and Libra, will be in these signs until January of 2025. So if you don't know anything about the North nodes, know for starters that you should watch all the way through to this, because if you're interested in self-growth, if you felt like the last year or 18 months have been extremely troublesome or have brought a lot of trials for you, if you don't really understand the Libra and Aries archetype, don't worry, I'm going to cover all this in this presentation. I'm also going to cover a very short horoscope for each of the signs for how the North and South node are going to affect you being in Aries and Libra. So in this, I'm going to cover what the North node and South node are first, what the difference is between your natal North and South node versus the current North and South node, what the Aries and Libra archetypes truly are, because oftentimes in astrology, something I'm very passionate about sharing is we feel like astrology is inaccurate, or astrology people get deemed, crazy, or just, oh, they're just into astrology, and that's usually just because we don't fully understand the archetypes. And that's why current transits can seem stereotypical or inaccurate. By understanding the archetypes fully and simply, we can understand and see with accuracy how the transits can be or are affecting us. So I'll cover what the Aries and Libra archetypes truly are in this presentation. I'll be covering also what the North Node is now in Aries and South Node in Libra, what that means for us, and how it'll affect you personally, because it's going to collectively, we're all shifting towards the Aries archetype, but also how you embrace the Aries archetype is going to be very different from someone else. And knowing that will be really important for your own journey. So let's just start off with what are the lunar nodes? Because if you're new to astrology, or if you've been just looking at your own North Node recently, understanding what exactly the lunar nodes are can be a bit confusing, especially because for starters, it's not a planet, clearly. Simply put, what you need to know about the North Node is the North Node in your birth chart represents your highest growth in this lifetime. It's something that is hardest for you to embrace, which can be very uncomfortable, like stepping into the unknown, and it's what you must grow into to counterbalance the South Node traits. The North Node is a lot like, I think of it as the Enneagram growth number. If you follow us here at Be the Hero channel, you know that the Enneagram is something we talk about a lot. The North Node very much resembles the Enneagram's growth number. And the South Node very much represents the Enneagram stress number. The South Node is your overused gifts and talents. And I really want to tense how much it's our overused gifts and talents. Oftentimes when we get into learning about the North and South Node, it is stereotyped and often believed that the South Node is something we're supposed to banish entirely. The South Node is something we have mastered. It is something we are gifted at. It is something we are talented at. And it's simply that we overuse it, and so it keeps us limited. These traits and qualities, after all, that we've mastered can keep us limited in life now. However, these talents can aid you in your journey to growth. I'll get into further why exactly the South Node is even more important, but simply put, the South Node, again, can be like the Enneagram stress number, because we're supposed to move generally towards our growth number, towards our North Node, but also at the same time, if you know a lot about the Enneagram, we're eventually supposed to embrace our stress number as well. And it's simply that we just want to make sure we're not overusing those qualities. So the South Node is something we need. It's part of the core of our being that can serve us well, that can bring us abundance and help us in our journey. But when overused, it leads to material detriment. We feel that we cannot manifest the things we want, and that's because the universe wants us to move towards our North Node. The North Node is what is hardest for us to learn. It's an energy we are unfamiliar with. We don't know how to embrace it. We're used to being in our South Node. The South Node is our place of comfort. North Node is discomfort. This is our place where we come to when we are in stress. This is where we are when we're in growth. What exactly are lunar nodes, though, in the sense of where are they? They're not planets. They're a point on the moon's orbit. And to take from a blog that summarized it very well at astrostyle.com, as they say, the lunar nodes are determined by the points where the moon's orbit crosses the ecliptic, the apparent path the sun makes around the Earth. We say apparent because in reality, the Earth is revolving around the sun, but from our vantage point on this planet, it appears that the sun is moving. And this is a huge theme generally with astrology, which is why I believe knowing your birth chart is so important, because everything in astrology is about how we view the cosmos, not the reality of science of how we are part of the cosmos and how the world, everything doesn't really revolve around us. It really shows how our perception is being governed and how our perception controls our reality. So the lunar nodes are a mathematical point. They're a point on the moon's orbit. Now, this is where it gets really interesting and can help you understand the North and South Node on a deeper level. Because again, there's a lot of people who I see getting into learning about their North and South Node, and they simply think that the North is good, South is bad. North is growth, South is stress. And I was recently reading up on Vedic astrology, and this really explained to me how the North and South Node are in more depth. I don't necessarily use Vedic astrology in my readings, but pulling from the information has helped me a lot. So the lunar nodes in Vedic astrology are known as Rahu and Ketu. And I'm going to admit now, there's a very big chance that I'm pronouncing a lot of these names wrong, but we're just going to plow through even if I butcher them. So in Vedic astrology, the North and South Node are thought of as the head and body of a dragon, which I love dragons, so this was super cool to hear. The North Node is the head, known as Rahu, and the South Node is the body/tail, known as Ketu. This symbolism shows how we're not supposed to forego our South Node qualities. So again, coming back to how the South Node is our overused gifts and talents. And this is going to tie into be very important about the upcoming cycle of the Aries North Node and Libra South Node, which is why I'm spending time explaining this first. Oftentimes we think of separating ourselves from our South Node, ignoring that part of our chart, repressing it, repressing the energy, and thinking that it's quote unquote bad to embrace. But actually, our South Node is like our karmic imprint that forms and cultivates the backbone of who we are, the body of who we are, as Vedic astrology views it. It is the core of our being, so to say, but it cannot be the driver. After all, our mind is in our heads, and so the head of the dragon, the head of our lives, must be our North Node. So this symbolism really shows how our North Node in our birth chart and in current astrology is where we're supposed to be leading our lives from, what should govern our direction. In the body of us, the South Node is how we navigate getting there. And this is, again, how, if you know about astrology, and if you don't, you'll know that oppositions and opposing zodiac signs, they always have a commonality. For example, for the recent cycle, Taurus and Scorpio are very focused on having a sense of security. Scorpio finds that security from being attached and codependent. Taurus finds that security through isolation more so and self-sufficiency. Both want to enjoy life to the fullest and seek something greater. Taurus finds that through connecting with the five senses, where Scorpio finds that through merging with something deeper and with another person. So the North and South Node are both essential to our being. And it's not simply that we're supposed to abandon all qualities of the South Node and move only towards the North Node, or else we would just be a head in space and have no body, have no governing talents, have no backbone. We need our South Node. The South Node, however, can have negative qualities. So I'll get to that in a minute. But to understand Rahu better, Rahu, which will also explain the North Node better and the upcoming cycle. Rahu is associated with materialistic pleasure and worldly desire. Hence why the North Node in our chart represents what will bring us, oftentimes will help us accelerate abundance or accelerate our manifestations. When people talk about or ask me how they can manifest certain things, I always bring them back to their North Node, because the universe wants us to move towards our North Node and brings us material gain from doing so. Rahu makes the soul surrender to materialization. It's often associated with fame, greed, and obsession. Rahu is a quote-unquote shadow planet that can bring destruction in the material world. Now, this can sound a little complicated or confusing or maybe even counterintuitive to those who are recently learning about the North Node, because I thought North Node you just said 5 minutes ago or less that it'll bring you material gain and that it is good for manifestation. Rahu is focused on the material world, and it's the head of the dragon. And without the body of the dragon, that head can't go anywhere. So you need the balance, and you need to act in your alignment with your North Node. You can't try to focus too much on your North Node and not govern or access the rest of your chart. Rahu can be beneficial. It is simply said to be so hypnotic that people tend to fall for misdeeds easily if they're influenced by Rahu. I see this as how all of us are unconsciously, before we even read our chart, aware of what our North Node is. Maybe it's a childhood desire that we have, something that we know we want, something we're always aiming for, and yet we feel shame almost around trying to achieve it, or we can be misguided in our journey to getting there. And this is because you need to understand your South Node as well before you try to reach your North Node. So I like this interpretation of the North Node because it shows how, without understanding the rest of yourself, your North, and trying to achieve your North Node, you simply will not get there. After all, your North Node is your highest path to growth. And we can actually connect this back to the Enneagram once more. We can't move towards our growth number in the Enneagram until we fully embodied our core type. So for example, if I'm a 9, I cannot become more like the 3 if I'm not already fulfilling some desire for peace, harmony, and using my skills of diplomacy. If I try to jump straight to my growth from my stress, I'm going to find I have a lack of sense of self. And so the North Node is really, it's about our highest growth. It's something that we are striving for from a place of wholeness. So Rahu, the North Node, can bestow natives with sudden wealth. So once we align with a sense of self, we can achieve our North Node and manifest abundance. And this perspective on the North Node as well shows us how we've been taught to feel shame around abundance or wealth. Again, Rahu's about material gain. The North Node brings us gain and abundance and helps us manifest whatever we want in our three-dimensional reality. The problem is, a lot of us as a society have been taught that to want material is bad. We're taught that it's shallow to want a nice car or to want a comfortable home or to even travel at times. And this can lead us to feeling shame around our North Node and not fulfilling it, or worse, trying to fulfill it in subtle ways that are less direct and taking back roads to get to the end result we want, which leads us to embracing our North Node in unhealthy ways. I am a natal North Node in Taurus, and that means I really desire comfort and luxury and material or monetary stability. For a while, I was trying to embrace this by giving myself really, in a way, a sense of discomfort and telling myself, once I've put myself in the hole physically, then, oh, I let myself drink water, or now I get to sleep, that's all of a sudden good for me. And that's not a healthy way to go about embracing my North Node, because simply it's coming from a place of scarcity. Rahu is about abundance. It's about material gain. And that is something we really need to understand when trying to embrace the North Node, because it will bring up feelings of shame when we move towards it. The warnings will go off in our head telling us, don't do that. But really, this is an unknown that we need to step into. It is good for us to step into this discomfort. After all, the North Node is something that's unfamiliar for us, which is why it is our highest path to growth in this lifetime, as far as our natal chart North Node goes. But it'll feel uncomfortable on the way. And that's why it's important for us to have our South Node to serve as our backbone to achieving that. Because even though they are opposing, they are actually one in the same, as the dragon represents. It is not things that are separate. It is not things that are completely opposite. They are part of a greater whole. The South Node, Ketu. If Rahu is considered the planet of worldly desires, then Ketu can be related to spirituality. So Rahu, the North Node, is about our material gain in the three-dimensional reality, but Ketu shows us how we can experience spiritual growth. This is also because it is also said that the North Node and the South Node are our karma. The South Node is thought to be our past life karma, in the sense that we mastered it already in our last incarnation, but it limits us now. And so now we have negative karma associated with it, which means that we need to re-embrace or redefine how we embrace whatever archetype and house the South Node is in our chart. Ketu represents the spiritual process of evolution and refinement of materialization to spirit. Ketu brings detriment to the physical reality, but benefits the spirit. Ketu is associated with spirituality, wisdom, fantasy, invincibility, and psychic abilities. Ketu is the body of the dragon, the core of our being, so to say. It is responsible for wisdom and knowledge of self. It gives the natives psychic abilities, and the native generally masters the art of healing. Ketu is where we can do deep healing work. By healing our South Node and recultivating our relationship with our South Node, we heal our spiritual body, and then we can more easily move into our North Node. Again, a lot of people think they have to outrun their South Node, and in a way, that's us doing spiritual bypassing. Or even worse, we are doing avoidance of doing the healing work. Ketu is where we have to do healing work. This is how we need the South Node in our life in order to move through life. And so Making sure we're paying attention to our South Node and asking, well, how can I use this for my benefit is important. After all, while we want material gain in the world, if any of you are into manifestation, you know that your thoughts create your reality. Your frequency is your currency. And this is what creates the life you live in. So by understanding your South Node and healing your relationship with it, you can move through life with more ease and manifest and move into your North Node with more ease. And this is an excerpt taken from Ganesha Speaks of the mythology behind Rahu and Ketu, which again just shows more in depth what the North and South Node represent. So according to ancient texts, the mythology behind the origin of Rahu and Ketu takes us to the story of Samudra Mathana. There's an A missing here as I researched later. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but Samudra Mathana, the churning ocean. So while the ocean was churning, a pot of elixir of immortality emerged from the mantle of the ocean. Mohini, the female avatar of Lord Vishnu, took the Amrit and started to distribute it to the divas. There was a demon named Shwarbanu who stood amongst the divas. The sun and moon, however, noticed and informed Mohini, but by that time, Shwarbanu had already drunk the Amrit, making it immortal. So Vishnu then cut the demon's head, and as the demon was not mortal, he could not die. So the head and body were separated, but they still live. The head is now known to be Rahu, and the body is Ketu. They're both given an important point in astrology. So I thought that was personally just cool to know about the story and see the story behind this placement in our chart. And again, it just symbolizes how it is all one. The lunar nodes are not this separate thing of good and bad. In your chart, the North Node represents your highest path to growth in this lifetime. It's what you need to move towards to gain in the material three-dimensional world. The South Node in your chart is your greatest talents and gifts that serve you in your journey, but will bring detriment if overused. You need your South Node. It is the core of your being, but not in excess. That's as far as your natal North and South Node go. In your chart, whatever sign and house your North and South Node are in shows you where you need to move to overall in this lifetime. But we also have the current North and South Node, always changing signs every 18 months. So how is that different? The current lunar nodes represent the next step or chapter in our hero's journey towards achieving our natal North Node. It's almost like a checkpoint. Think about your life as a book, and the book's story is about you on your journey to achieving your North Node. You have chapters in the book, and those chapters change every time the North and South Node change. Overall, the book is still about you achieving your natal North Node and healing your South Node, but the current lunar nodes show you where you are in that journey, how you are learning and what you need to learn in order to get there. The North Node is what you must learn next. The South Node is what you must heal next. Again, the South Node is not something we just abandon and repress. It's a place where we need to learn to heal and do spiritual work and heal our spirit. The North Node will bring us material gain. Again, the lunar nodes change signs every 18 months, and they generally move in a retrograde fashion. So in 2021, early 2021, the North and South nodes were in Gemini and Sagittarius. For the past 18 months, they've been in Scorpio and Taurus, and now they have entered Aries and Libra. So now that you have a really deep and clear understanding of what the North Node and South Node truly are and what role they play in your life, both in your chart and in your current astrology, let's dive into what it means now that the lunar nodes have entered Aries and Libra. Again, today's July 17th as of filming this, 2023, and they will be here until January 11th, 2025. We have a long journey ahead with this transit, and so understanding it fully can help us release that inner critic about having to grow faster, since growth is now a challenge or a race to win. And it can also help us understand where we're going next. Let's talk about Aries, because Aries is often just thought of as the person who does not think before speaking, and also has no filter and loves fire, which, as an Aries, that's true. But also there's a lot more to the archetype. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac wheel, and it represents the moment we come out of the womb and enter the 3D world for the first time. Aries, as a fire sign, represents courage, bravery, passion, and initiation. They are new to the world. And I really want to tense that, because truly the most important part of the Aries archetype is that they are the first. They are here. They are new to the world. They have no experience. They are aloof, and they are innocent, and they are the fool. And because they're new to the world, they just want to experience it to the fullest. Since they're the first sign of the zodiac, they're not experienced in life, and this makes them rub people the wrong way. Aries, first and foremost, because of this, is bold, brave, aggressive, and blunt. They don't know that they are hurting people's feelings. They don't know what the results of their actions are going to be. They act off of impulse. They just want to try. They're the first to take the leap of faith. They tend to speak before they think, and before they rationalize and express, before they process what they feel. Aries is the ram. And this is, again, showing how they charge life straight on. Characterized by the ram, Aries charges life head on without fear or rational thoughts, some may say. It seems irrational for them to be so impulsive, but to Aries, it's the most rational thing they can do. They don't know, they accept that they're the fool, and so they just say, what do I have to lose? Aries believes themselves in a way to be invincible. Because they're so new to the world, they believe that they have their whole life ahead of them to learn, and they have a strong inner strength. As the first sign of the zodiac, Aries represents a sense of self, independence, and individuality. All Aries is concerned with when they come into the world is who they are and experiencing it. Aries is associated with the phrase, I am. So there's a strong sense of independence and individuality in that. They're, for the first time, an independent node in the world, no longer part of the womb. They are standing alone. They are isolate. We are, for the first time, on our own in the world and exposed to the harsh senses. Aries is unafraid, characterized by their impulse. They want to try everything and believe themselves to be unstoppable. Again, the ram. They charge things straight on. They don't worry about getting concussions. They don't worry about growing tired. They just go moment to moment. And that is their strength. They sometimes burn out. They recharge. They go again. Aries doesn't worry so much about the future. They're truly about the present moment and about experiencing it to the fullest as an individual. They want to be an independent in the world. Aries is a fire sign, giving them plenty of aggression and a short fuse. Hence, again, they're new to the world and they don't know self-control very much. These people want to experience everything as soon as possible, commonly acting off of impulse and using aggressive means to get what they want, without meaning to, of course, but they know assertion. Highly independent people. Aries is a cardinal sign. If you do not know what the modalities are, there are three. There's cardinal, fixed, and mutable, and these represent the three different mentalities we take to the world. Cardinal signs are initiators of new thought. So Aries as a cardinal signs, they are initiators of new thought and bring new ideas to revolutionize the world's ways. They initiate new things fearlessly to bring value to the zodiac wheel. This makes Aries a headstrong and sometimes overconfident person. Hence why, they'll charge a wall straight on, realize, that wasn't the best idea, but at least I tried. That is Aries' mentality of life. Either way, Aries is open to trying new things, especially if they're intense. Aries, as a fire sign, does love thrill. They want to experience not only new things, but fun new things. They are driven by the chase for intensity. They want to experience life to the fullest. And hence why Taurus comes after Aries, because that's where we realize, I might need to slow down. You know what? These roses smell great. I don't need to charge another mountain head on. Libra is opposite of Aries. Seventh sign in the zodiac wheel. It's all about self-identity. Let me start that sentence over. My brain jumped. My Mars and Gemini is strong. Libra is the seventh sign of the zodiac wheel. Opposing Aries, who is all about self-identity and living for the self, independence, aggression, and assertion, Libra holds the opposing qualities of Aries then. Libra is where we learn to connect with another person for the first time. We see how connection requires compromise, balance, and neutrality. Libra is the opposing qualities of Aries and yet the same. Libra is the peacemaker. They want things to be equal. They want to move through life methodically. They want to be stable and open. They want to connect with others. And that's what makes them different from Aries, opposite of Aries. Libra is a diplomat to a fault. They want to make sure everyone gets what they want. This diplomatic nature serves them well in their desire to connect with another person. As the seventh sign of the zodiac, Libra is primarily focused on connection. Libra can also, because of this, be very indecisive. They are, after all, represented by the scales. They want to keep everything in balance. So whereas Aries is impulse decisions with no regard for the result, Libra can struggle with indecision due to the fact that they're always seeing both sides of the coin. As an air sign, they highly value intellectual connection and logic. This makes them great mediators and very aware of how to appear friendly to all groups. Libra is great at making everyone happy and comfortable, but often ignores what they want or need. They have a let's all get along mentality. They rely on his or her communication to help everyone see another side of the story, makes everyone feel the most important person in the room, struggles in the end with who am I? This is where Aries and Libra can work together because Aries can oftentimes be too involved with the I am, and Libra can sometimes be too involved with the we are. Libra is also a cardinal sign and an air sign at that. They may find their identity shifting based off of who they are with in their lives and who and where they are. In order to feel more confident in their identity, social Libras need to get comfortable spending time with themselves and getting to know their gut and their internal voice. As a cardinal sign, they pave the way in the archetype when it comes to connecting with another person and mastering the art of diplomacy. They are initiators in the sense of initiating connection. Libra, while doing their best to appear easygoing and neutral, is capable of being highly assertive, and they know that they can manage other people's needs and desires very well. Libra is a cardinal, and that can sometimes be shocking because they appear so passive, but it's that they're using their skills of diplomacy to make sure everyone gets along. They're initiating peace. So with the North Node in the archetype of Aries, this is a time where we are called to focus on our independence, asserting ourselves healthily, and being in our relationship with aggression. Now's the time for us to be bold, take action, and fight for what we want without fear. Again, the North Node is the head of the dragon. During this time, we are called to be more maybe headstrong. We are learning to embrace the archetype of Aries once more. And if you already have Aries strong in your chart, this might feel like an easier journey for you as far as what you're supposed to be doing in the material world. But the North Node is just the point of material gain right now. So when it comes to how you can manifest better and gain in the material reality, it's time to bring on the archetype of Aries. We are called to maybe be more impulsive, say yes to more things, take life straight on, maybe even pushing ourselves a little harder. This is a time where we can test our strengths and really realize how we can be assertive without being rude. Aries knows how to say no and how to say yes in a way that may rub the people the wrong way, but for the sake of themselves. This is a time where we are all learning over the next 18 months how to show up for ourselves better. And this is why I also think Libra is very important to note for this transit. Not only is the North Node shifting signs, but we're also focused on our South Node. With the South Node moving into the sign of Libra, we will be healing our relationship with peace and diplomacy, realizing where we are forgoing our sense of self for the sake of approval or quote unquote peace. And I say quote unquote peace because you can't have true peace if you're not aligned with your sense of self, because you are abandoning yourself. No more putting others before ourselves, no more being pushed around, learning that not everyone needs to like us or accept us. We are taking our own path. Aries, new to the world, charges life straight on. I am an individual, independent. They don't need someone in their journey. They are purely driven by the desire to experience life to the fullest on their own. They're so new to the world that the idea of others doesn't even matter to them. Libra really wants to connect with people. They want someone to share their life with. And with the South Node here during the next 18 months, we are reflecting on how we cultivate connection with other people and what are our unhealthy modes of doing so. Are we focused too much on how people see us? Are we shifting who we are around certain people for approval? This is the biggest detriment of the Libra archetype, is that they want to be liked by everyone because they want to connect. And so they have this part of them that just always wants to, frankly, get approval from everyone they care about. And at the same time, Libra has good qualities. So the South Node being here is an invitation for us to heal our relationship with the Libra archetype, heal our relationship with peace and diplomacy, and heal our relationship with connection. How are we unhealthily embracing connection? How are we unhealthily trying to connect with other people? How are we foregoing our needs and ourselves? Are we being too passive? There is a time and place for assertion, not aggression, but assertion. And there's a big difference between the two. Oftentimes, people look at assertion as aggression, protecting yourself as a bad thing because we don't want to do harm. But oftentimes we forget that sometimes allowing other people to push our boundaries is harming ourselves. And so the North Node being in Aries is about asserting our needs and desires, asserting ourselves, and not letting people push us around. And then from that space of independence that we will be focusing on for the next 18 months, then we can recultivate our connections. If you are an Aries sun or rising, your relationships are going to be in huge focus during this time. And you're going to have a lot of healing work to do around your relationship with others and your relationship with yourself. This is also about individuality. And so we're really connecting over the next 18 months with our sense of self. Not so much in how we want to appear to other people, but who we truly are as a primal being at our core. Just what do we want to do? Aries reminds us that actions speak louder than words. And sometimes it requires saying no. Sometimes it's just going our own way when we need to. Less overthinking and trying to make sure everyone gets along and not rocking the boat. And instead being an initiator, being bold, carving our own path. We can be isolate in the world. We can be our own node in the world, hence North Node. And we don't always need collaboration. We can have independence. We're moving from the peacemaker to the fighter. There's a time and place to assert ourselves. There's a time and place for assertion. We've been in a time where we are taught to be peaceful and accepting of everyone, and you still can be. It's not necessarily that the North Node in Aries is telling us to be rude to everyone or be aggressive or suddenly cut everyone out of our lives, but we can accept people and also not follow them. We can be alone at times in the world, be an individual, be independent and isolated, and that can be a healthy thing. During this upcoming transit of 18 months long of Aries North Node, this is a time for us to maybe spend more time in solitude, to focus on our relationship with ourselves and enjoy being an independent person in reality. The question is, how will this affect you? Because the Aries North Node is about individuality. It is about a relationship with others, but depending on the house it's happening in for you will change how that affects you, because there is a certain area of your life where you are foregoing your sense of self and letting people push you around. So Aries North Node in the houses. Individuate and assert your what? Depending on your sign will change where this happens for you. If you're unfamiliar with the houses, you can book a reading with me, which I will give you more info on at the end of this. But if you are an Aries sun or rising, moon too, but I personally find that sun and rising is much more accurate for the upcoming North Node transits and has been for the North and South Node transits. So if you're an Aries sun or rising, this is affecting your sense of identity. You're called to move towards more literal independence and alone time. Less time with other people, more time on your own, and you're healing your relationship with your one-on-one relationships, because the Libra South Node is in your 7th house of one-on-one partnerships. English. Ooh. If you are, let's see, if it's 2nd house, if you are a Pisces sun, moon, or rising, then, or sun or rising, this is going to affect your finances. Are you independent in your finances? Are you too collaborative with your finances? Are you focused maybe too much on intimacy and connecting with someone, and instead you need to focus on your own wealth and your sense of self-worth? If you are an Aquarius sun, moon, or rising, this is going to be a call for you to individuate and insert yourself in your everyday communication and places. Your neighbors, your relatives, your siblings are called into focus right now, and how you just communicate in the day-to-day. This is mindfulness at its finest for you. So be mindful of how you speak to others, and do you need to be more assertive? As an Aquarius, you're not afraid to be different, but are you being passive? Are you letting people push you around for the sake of connection, and do you need to assert yourself more? If you are a Capricorn sun, moon, or rising, this is affecting your 4th house of your family. Now's the time for you to focus on being assertive and an individual in your family life. You could do deep healing with your emotions and your aggression during this upcoming 18-month cycle. And you are moving away from your career and reputation, which can be hard, I know, as a Capricorn, to move away from career, but this is the time for you to heal your relationship with your career. Are you being too peaceful, so to say, in your career, trying to be liked by everyone? And how can you change that? If you are a Sagittarius, sun, moon, or rising, specifically sun or rising, this is a time for you to focus on asserting yourself in romance, which is probably going to be really fun for you as a fire sign. This is going to be some easier energy. You're going to feel it's very light. On the other hand, for Capricorn, this will be very challenging. But for Sagittarius, you're called to focus on asserting yourself in romance, maybe taking the leap more to have fun in flirting, but also with your relationship with play and creativity. Are you oftentimes too focused on your dreams and your community that you're not making time to just have fun and also just fall in love? This is a huge love cycle for you. So for those who had maybe their North Node in the 5th house for the last year or so, there's been more of a focus on healing your relationship with play and fun, and less focus on your dreams and visions and community. And now you have this cycle, Sagittarius. Now's the time for you to move away from the social sphere, so to say, and more focus on spending individual time enjoying life. What makes you enjoy life the most? This is what you're supposed to do during this time. If you are, let's see, where was I? Sagittarius. So before Sagittarius, you have Scorpio. If you're a Scorpio, you have this happening in your 6th house. So you might find that during this time, you need to be individuate and assert yourself with your routines and your stability and wellness. You might be too focused on doing the inner work, which has been a theme for you for a while. And maybe you've been focused a lot on your identity and reinitiating, changing your relationship with your identity over the past 18 months, especially because the South Node was in your sign. But now you're here to focus on how you can heal your relationship with your mind and your routine. Do you have a lot of self-limiting beliefs coming up? Do you have a lot of time spent stuck in your head? Do you have to move more towards your actual routine? Oftentimes we can focus on doing the work and ruminate so long on what we're supposed to do that we don't actually do it. So Scorpio, during this time with the Aries North Node in your 6th house, just do the thing. Drink the water, take the shower, go to yoga, go to the workout, do whatever it is that takes care of yourself, but actually just do it. Don't think about just doing it. You might notice that you get caught up recently, or you're gonna notice that you get caught up over the next 18 months about thinking what you should be doing and deciding what's best. And instead you just need to take action and do it. If you are a Libra sun, moon, or rising, specifically sun or rising, this is inverted for you. So you have a lot of growth to do with asserting yourself in your relationships. Libra, you tend to be peaceful and easygoing, and you are in the spotlight right now as the North and South node enter your sign. So now you need to focus on, in a way, being the opposite of your normal self, which can be challenging, and being more assertive in your partnerships, your friendships, your one-on-one connections, and being more peaceful with yourself, healing your relationship with yourself. How can you be more accepting of yourself? And how can you break your belief that you have to be liked by everyone? Again, Aries and Libra, you guys are the most in the spotlight during this time because these are in your signs. You are the stars of this show. Good luck. If you are a Virgo sun, moon, or rising, this is affecting your 8th house of intimacy and shadow work and deep desires. You might find that you need to be more assertive in intimacy, or you want to be more assertive in intimacy. And now's the time for you to focus on moving away from necessarily tangible material gain and more so on what is going to fulfill me on a deeper level. What is going to fulfill you on a deeper level, Virgo? You're usually used to the tangible, to managing your finances and focusing on your sense of self-worth, but this could be very challenging for you during this time to do so. And you're going to find that you need to move towards more, what do I want on a deeper level, which could be intimacy, which could be the act, the sexual act, but it could also just be your deeper desires. You're having to be more assertive when it comes to your shadow work as well. If you're a Leo sun or rising, now is the time for you to really step into the unknown by exploring the unknown fearlessly. This could mean literally traveling a lot, going to new places, experiencing new things, and being assertive and fearless in the process, especially because this is in the Aries North Node, which is all about being fearless and being the fool. You could also be experiencing a lot of philosophical learning during this time. You could be changing your perception of the world. The South Node is in your 3rd house, and so you're leaving the familiar ways of communicating in familiar places, and you're moving into the unfamiliar, the unknown. If you are a Cancer sun, moon, or rising, now's the time for you to focus on reasserting yourself in your career, which, if you're watching this the same day of the Cancer new moon, and you're watching this the day that I publish this, you're finding that recently you are having to reflect a lot on your sense of self and how you show up everywhere in your life, which can be quite challenging for you, relieving, but challenging. And now is the time for you to focus on being the lead in your career, asserting yourself in your career. Are you focused too much on keeping the peace in your family or being peaceful amongst family? And instead, you need to just focus less on family, healing your relationship with them, and focusing for material gain on your career. What do you want to do in work? How can you do that? Take the leap. Don't necessarily think about it so much. Don't think, just do. That is from the movie The Maverick. I quote it all the time as an Aries. It very much resonates. Don't think, just do. That's my motto for life. And that's really the motto for everyone during this time. Don't think, just do. I love it. If you are a Taurus, Gemini. If you are a Gemini sun, moon, or rising, specifically sun or rising, this is affecting how you approach your community and your biggest dreams. Chase your dreams during this time, Gemini. What were your dreams growing up? What dreams do you have now? How do you want to lead a life? What gives you a sense of meaning? What people do you want to be around? Follow those dreams. Assert yourself in your community. Don't be afraid to take action. I know, Gemini, you're already a talkative person, but focus more on what you do rather than what you say. And you're already not very much censoring what you say. And so keep embracing that during this time. Now's the time for you to focus on asserting yourself in your community, chasing your dreams, and moving more away from just enjoying life. The 5th house is about romance. It is about play and creativity. Overall, it's just about enjoyment. So instead of just chasing pleasure, chase purpose during this time. And finally, if you are a Taurus sun, moon, or rising. The pressure is finally released from you. Same goes for Scorpio as well. The North and South node move out of your guys' signs so you can feel that the pressure is finally off you. And now's the time for you just to focus on your relationship with your mind. It might be time for you to take a confident and fearless look at your shadows. Take a look at your fears, embrace your fears, and do the inner work. Move away from trying to focus on tasks and actually pay attention to your thought. You have a tendency to just focus on, maybe going to a yoga class or working out, doing something external, but it's time to do the internal work with a new lens. You are, again, the North Node is in Aries for you in your 12th house. So accepting the fact that you're ignorant in some areas is important for you. And you are a fixed sign. This could be hard for you, Taurus, but this is about you being fearless in not knowing, stepping into the unknown, stepping into your mind, paying attention to your mind, and seeing what there is to find. You don't necessarily need to overthink everything or keep everything balanced as Libra likes to do. You're just noticing. So that's your theme for you. So, in summary, for all of you with the North Node in Aries, move towards cultivating independence, prioritizing your own needs, walk on your own path, make your own decisions, and stand up for yourself. Independence and assertion for the sake of yourself in your own enjoyment. And now is the time with the South Node in Libra to move away from keeping the peace and losing your own, in the sense that we think that we feel peaceful when we're accepted, but it's not. We're abandoning ourselves in that process, which is not healthy. Stop merging identity with others. Don't commit to others to a fault. Stop people pleasing and cultivate, notice your relationship and lack of self-trust. Aries is ignorant, and at the same time, they believe, I'm going to be fine. So during this time, focus on believing that I am going to be fine, and don't outsource your desires or don't outsource to others' opinions. Focus on your own beliefs and trust yourself. If you have any more questions about the North Node entering Aries and the South Node entering Libra, book a 30-minute reading with me. In these 30-minute readings, you get to truly just ask away. You can ask any questions you want, whether that is about your life and using astrology to answer them. If you have questions about your chart, or if you have questions about how the North Node and South Node are going to affect you, or other current transits in these 30-minute readings, sky's the limit. So go to makingmindfulnessfun.com/product/coaching-Isabelle to book that reading now. The link is on every YouTube video, so it'll be in the description below on this video to book a reading with me. If you're ready to dive deep into your soul's purpose and you want to figure out what it means, your chart in depth, if you want to figure out how your North Node journey right now is connected to your natal North Node and South Node journey, if you want to look into your purpose in your numerology, in your Enneagram, then book a self-revolution reading with me, which is 1 hour long, where we dive into all of your chart, your numerology, your Enneagram, your purpose, and more. This is for people who are ready to grow and ready to dive deep. If not, 30-minute readings are always available, and these can be very helpful for those who just want to get cut straight to the point and get their questions answered. Whether that's one question or 100, you have 30 minutes to decide how you use that time slot. Hopefully this video gave you guys a very simple overview of what it means to have the North Node in the sign of Aries and the South Node in the sign of Libra. This is going to be a massive shift for us. This is a huge change, and this is just the beginning. So this change will not feel dramatic at first as the North and South Node change signs, but we can feel the themes starting to settle in. We can feel the call that we need to focus on ourselves more, that it's time to be assertive, it's time to be independent and pave the way forward just for the sake of ourselves. Now's the time to charge life straight on. Our vitality can be increased, and we can find that the more time we spend in solitude, maybe the better. Don't be afraid to speak your truth. Be fearless, be bold, be brave. You are, not we are. So remember that I am. Hopefully this helped you understand the upcoming transit. And if you have more questions, book a reading or let me know in the comments below. I do my best to answer comments, but a lot have been pouring in and it is very hard to keep up. One quick note is that I will be going off grid for a week. So I will be back in to filming around the 26th. So unfortunately, you guys might not have many astrology updates until the 27th of July. My apologies. I will be off grid and there's quite literally no way for me to film. So I will be back with astrology updates. Be sure to check out my videos on the rest of the birth chart aspects and share this video with a friend to keep you busy while you wait for me to return with the daily transit updates. This is overall the most massive transit that is upcoming for the month of July. And I've been so excited to film about it because this is going to change the game for all of us. And this is the next step in our journey. And we need all the help we can get, because if you navigate the current transits of the North and South Node well, you can experience accelerated manifestation, more ease generally in life, and you can feel less confused. And let me tell you, I value being very much less confused in life. So hopefully this video has given you clear direction on where you are going. And even if this is the last video I filmed before I go on my trip, it's the most important one you need to know about. So I'm so glad that I got around to filming this before I left town. Hopefully you guys feel the same. If you have any questions, again, let me know in those comments below, and stay tuned for more videos breaking down astrology. While you are here watching this, be sure to check out the links in the description below to get your very own My Horoscope Made Me Do It hoodie, the free birth chart workbook, and get the Making Mindfulness Fun bundle to keep you busy while you wait for me to return from my trip, where you can access all 30 of our workbooks and courses on astrology and more for only $30. So if you want to learn more about astrology, both your chart and current astrology, if you want to learn how to be more of an astrology master and understand the signs better, understand yourself better, understand your placements better, then get the bundle where you can access all 30 of our workbooks and courses on astrology and more to keep you plenty of entertained, if not only for a week, but for a lifetime while you wait for me to return. And you get this all for just $30. So that's $1 per course per workbook. And not only do we have 30 workbooks and courses in there, but one of them is our 7-day chakra healing course, which is already in and of itself life-changing. So hit the link in the description below to grab that now. Check out the links, book a reading, and when I get back into town, I will schedule a reading with you as soon as possible. Do note that if you book now, I will not see it. So don't worry if you have not got an email from me. I'm just off grid. So I will get back to you when I get back into town on the 26th or 27th, and I get back to filming and back to work on the 27th. Thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way through to the end. If you have obviously, if you're watching this, you have, and I appreciate you all so much. You guys truly are the ones who make a difference here at Be The Hero Academy. And I appreciate all of you so much. So much. I thank you. You make it so that I can do the work that I do and lead the life that I want to lead. You're so much appreciated. Be sure to share this video with a friend if you think they will enjoy it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos breaking down both current astrology and upcoming and your birth chart. Once again, my name is Isabelle, and from my heart to yours, namaste. Bye.